How's it going, everyone? I'm Devin Howard. Before I dive into why Zion Williamson is an actual basketball beast, click subscribe and then find me on Instagram at Devin Howard. He towers at 6'7" and uses all of his 285 pounds to completely smother and bulldoze opposing teams. If you needed proof that a human being can be completely superhuman, you'll find it in Zion.
Are you real?
The Duke freshman uses incredible closing speed and otherworldly elevation to reject shots straight into the seats. His list of accomplishments during his short time at Duke is massive. He's been compared to the likes of Shaquille O'Neal, Michael Jordan, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, and of course, our current superstar Lebron James, but people are even thinking that LeBron doesn't hold a candle to the multi-talented college player. What? Golden State Warriors head coach Steve Kerr admits that Zion has the capacity to trump LeBron.
I thought LeBron was, that was a one guy, one shot deal, but apparently the next guy's coming. And before I get fined, I'm going to change the subject.
Yes, he certainly is. Although he has some work to do before he can really be a contender for LeBron-level fame. The freshman player has, so far, proven himself to be a master among college athletes, but he has yet to face off with true NBA talent. Some people think fans are jumping the gun with these LeBron comparisons, but after watching this guy play, I think it's pretty obvious that it doesn't matter if his opponents or teammates are college level, this guy is magical.
He's an alien. Yes, of course he's an alien.
The athlete is known for his earth-shattering dunks, unbelievable blocks, and mammoth rebounds, and he pulls out some exciting moves in every game now. It's practically becoming expected. But don't worry, we're not quite at the point of being unimpressed by Zion and his outrageous plays. There's something extraordinary about the moves he pulls on the court. And for now, we're still totally awestruck.
I can't believe it!
So let's take a look at all the reasons why he's the next big player and the one you need to keep your eyes on, starting with his stats. Williamson is averaging 22 points, 9.4 rebounds, 2.3 assists. He's shooting at 28.6% from behind the three-point line, but his form is solid. He also has a 45-inch vertical, and he blows away the maximum vertical leaps of every other prospect listed at 240 pounds or more. He also has the highest vertical leap in Duke history. The only person who had a better vertical than Zion was Kansas's Kenny Gregory. He's 6'5" and weighs 85 pounds less than Zion, but only leaped half an inch higher. If it wasn't obvious by now, Zion is unreal. He handles the ball like a guard, but also possesses a traditional post-up game. Naturally, he's going to be the top pick in the 2019 draft. But what are the facts without the proof? I'm diving into some monumental moments in Zion's college basketball career. Let's kick this off with his dunk history, cause it is rich. Not only does the freshman player make dunking a basketball look like a freaking piece of cake, his also sound so satisfying, as Will Brinson notes. Then there was that time when Zion just pummeled past every player on the court, charging at unbelievable speeds to dunk like no one else can. Let's look at that again, shall we? He makes that look effortless. Are you starting to understand why he's the talk of the town? If you're still not convinced, let me show you the time he threw a 360 dunk against Clemson.
Let's do it.
Let's do it! Number 3. With the pressure, there it is. Gets the takeaway. Okay. Oh, are you serious? Slam jam bang.
One of my favorite parts about that clip is the announcer. He's even more excited than I am, and I am pretty damn excited. Zion made his Madison Square Garden debut earlier this year, and in an insanely well-executed play, he jumped sky high and dunked much to the delight of the crowds in the stands.
Zion finishes. Up and away. Oh, T.O., baby.
I think what's specifically so crazy about him as a player is that he accelerates to wild speeds and then leaps as if it were nothing. When Duke played San Diego State, he was quick on his feet and he threw down a mean windmill.
Zone. But this team, look out. Get out of the way, Jay.
And just because there is nothing quite like a good windmill, let's take a look at another one during the Indiana-Duke game. Zion just glides across the court, swings the basketball straight into the hoop. It's like stealing candy from a baby. And then there was this magnificent moment when Zion launched himself in the air to sink a dunk.
Kind of a high flyer before
It's like he comes out of nowhere and just stomps on the opposing team. I'm impressed to say the very, very least. This guy has the chops to walk around like he owns the court, because he practically does, but instead of being a boastful brag, he's actually quite humble. His high school coach remembered a moment when the basketball star was in 6th grade and he was given a trophy at a tournament. Instead of accepting the honor, he said, "I don't deserve this," and gave it to another kid on the team because that kid had made his first ever basket. Wow, a great player and a good guy. Now that's what I like to see. So how did he become such a beast? His mom was his first ever basketball coach, and then his stepdad took over when he got older. He wasn't particularly tall as a preteen, so his parents focused on teaching him the basics of playing point guard. After 8th grade though, Zion said he had a nearly 12-inch growth spurt, and that's when his coaches began grooming him to go pro. As for his playing style, he says he has 3 inspirations. Quote, LeBron because of the way he carries himself on and off the court, Russell Westbrook because I just love the energy and enthusiasm he brings to the game, and Kawhi Leonard because I just love the way he plays defense and handles his business. So those LeBron comparisons aren't totally unfounded. Zion admires the all-star player, and considering LeBron was watching him play recently, it looks like he'll be taking the young talent under his wing. Hopefully. But even if LeBron doesn't end up befriending the superstar, he's got enough mega celebs backing him up and repping his name. Get this, Drake posted a picture wearing Zion's high school team jersey, so if the athlete didn't have any cool cred then, he certainly does now. How many high schoolers can say Drake repped their name on Instagram? None, except Zion. Now before we wrap up this video about Zion Williamson, I want to take it back to that Notre Dame-Duke game a few weeks ago. We saw Zion guard Notre Dame's guard in Duke's win, and the play was complex and absolutely brilliant. In the video that I'm going to show you in just a sec, Zion maintains the same pace as his smaller counterpart and uses the span of his arms to deny the opposing guard any space. He does all of that without sacrificing position or footwork. He doesn't spend too much time bullying the guard that he ignores everything else around him.
15 already for Williamson. Excellent defense.
It's plays like this that make us think this is the reason why he should be the #1 overall pick in the next NBA draft. His defense alone is something worth coveting, and that's not even accounting for his ability to jump or the fact that he's a gifted playmaker. He's the kind of guy who can guard all 5 positions. He's heavier and can jump higher than other notable NBA players who have been described as being able to do the same thing. He has a weight advantage and can use it against the centers. He closes out guards with speed. It's astonishing. He's also got votes of confidence from Hall of Famers like Scottie Pippen, who is convinced the young star has already done enough to prove he's worthy of a spot in the NBA, and thinks he should quit playing until the draft.
I would stop playing because I feel that he could risk a major injury that could really hurt his career.
In other words, Pippen thinks that Williamson should stop thinking about the Blue Devils and start focusing solely on himself and his future career. Scottie Pippen is on board with the player then, so we'll have to see what moves the athlete makes next. Once we hit June, I'm not going to be surprised when we see that every NBA team has Zion at #1 on their draft board. Currently, all signs are pointing to a future franchise player with an unbeatable explosive energy and a high basketball IQ. He's a versatile player that has the power to successfully rebuild any team. So which teams could use his defense the most? Let's get into it. The Phoenix Suns could certainly use a strong player like Zion on their roster. They're in need of a defensive playmaker alongside Ayton, and the Duke player could certainly fill that hole. Assuming Phoenix finishes with a bottom 4 record, recruiting the freshman basketball player would be their most obtainable ticket back to relevance. But they'll be fighting against the Cavs, who likely would want to get a young talent like Zion on their roster. He could be a centerpiece franchise player the Cavaliers won't land in free agency. Experts think that Zion and Kevin Love can coexist and work together on the Cavs if Love returns from his surgery, stays healthy, and sticks with the team long term. We've also got the Knicks, who can benefit from an upgrade in the form of Zion. They've been working their way back to relevance, and they're banking on signing a star over the summer. If they caught a break in the lottery, their rebuild would be put on high speed. An athlete like Zion could give the team a much-needed boost in their skill and talent, and enhance how attractive the team is to free agents. The team is already filled with versatile players, so Zion would be one more in the bunch. The Atlanta Hawks are in the process of rebuilding, and an obvious way to expedite that is signing a young superstar. Zion would take their roster to new heights and be the centerpiece this team needs. Zion and Young would complement each other, and the star would fit in with the team's up-tempo style. Heading out to the Pacific Northwest, the Washington Wizards are either going to work on rebuilding or they'll move forward with John Wall and Bradley Beal. No matter what, they've probably got their eyes on Zion. The Wizards lineup has been a little stagnant over the years. They've kept the same core players and haven't made a ton of progress, but Zion's beastly skill would give them the upgrade they need. So if you haven't already taken notice of this emerging young athlete, now is the time to start. Even though he's being compared to LeBron and Michael Jordan and almost every other star player out there, he's completely unique, and I'm guessing he'll be able to make a huge splash once he hits the big time. What are your thoughts on Zion? Where do you think he'll end up? And can he really compete with LeBron? Chat about it in the comments. Make sure you subscribe. I'm Devin Howard, and I'll catch you next time right here on The Fumble.